The Las Vegas Raiders, they try to go for it. They really thought by adding Davante Adams in that would be the final kind of thing that they needed to be able to elevate themselves with the likes of Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers and with the Broncos making big additions in that division. And none of that really came to pass, but particularly for the Raiders now, it kind of feels like that move might have set them back in the long term because they're at a complete junction now.
Yeah, it was a fascinating offseason, wasn't it? They sort of pushed their chips, all into the middle of the table, but then had a secret stash of chips hidden away that they could rebuild around. They went out and spent on Davante Adams. They gave Derek Carr an extension. They re-signed Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and had this kind of offensive core. But they had almost outs on almost every player. Derek Carr, it looks like he's probably going to get traded. If not, he's going to get released because there's no guaranteed money on that contract after last season. And they can do the same thing with Hunter Renfrow. They can do the same thing with Darren Waller. And it feels like basically this offense is potentially going to be Davante Adams and with, there's rumors of Tom Brady, but I think it's probably going to end up being a rookie that they're going to bring in and try to rebuild around moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision. I mean, Derek Carr, he was not necessarily one of the real problems this season, but we've just seen that he can't elevate the team into that kind of upper tier of offensive, explosive teams that we really want to be seeing. Like this year, they ranked 21st in passing offense DVOA, which for a team with Davante Adams, who was excellent, you'd like to imagine that they could have gotten higher than that, really. So Davante Adams had an incredible season. I think we kind of expected that, but we didn't necessarily expect Josh Jacobs to have such an incredible season. He wasn't somebody I was drafting in best ball. He's somebody I've been outspoken about in the past, saying that I thought he was a volume-based running back who got there on volume over efficiency. But he really did have an incredible season, Rich. Where do you think the Raiders go with Josh Jacobs from here?
I think a lot of what they do with Josh Jacobs depends on what they're doing with the quarterback position. I think that if they're going to bring in a veteran, whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's, another vet, then they've probably got to re-sign Josh Jacobs and you can continue to try and compete. I think that if you're going to bring in a rookie, I'm nervous that you're basically handing the keys of the offense over to Josh Jacobs. And I think that that's going to be a recipe for disaster, basically. I think he's a nice complementary piece and he had an incredible fantasy season. But I think a lot of that was contract year dependent. He's had a career high in yards after contact. He had a career high breakaway percentage. He had a career high in efficiency overall. I'm nervous that this was a career year, a once in a blue moon event. And I don't think that Josh Jacobs is that talented of a back to continue to do this year on year. I agree with you. I think he's a volume-based RB2, and I think he's going to fall back to that, whether it's in Las Vegas or somewhere else.
I think the one argument for kind of Josh Jacobs you can make is that he's only 24. He is still quite young, but I'd be more comfortable drafting him this year if he was franchise tagged by the Raiders or re-signed than if he goes elsewhere. I feel like we could definitely see regression hit. If Tom Brady comes in, then I'll definitely sign up for it because we've seen what Tom Brady can do for running backs in terms of just quick targets a lot of the time. So I think that would probably be the best case for Josh Jacobs. But outside of that, it definitely feels like we could be watching a very different Raiders team when it gets to 2023.